My partner Jackie and I, we met about 9-10 years ago through a friend, and things have been great. Have 3 daughters, and I was working for a company called CEO, and we were being sent out to work on a Habitat for Humanity house on Winter Street on the west side area. And a couple of Push's foremen were on site working there and took notice of me. And eventually that's how I became part of the hiring hall. That's how I got my start in the construction industry. My life ended up coming to a halt. I was involved in a car accident, leaving the scene, a decision that I regret for the rest of my life. Push was very helpful to my family and I when I was incarcerated. They all sent construction books that I was studying, came to see me on numerous occasions, sent letters of support that allowed me to get out early, even helped Jackie and the girls out at Christmas time. Can't thank them enough, just so grateful for them. And it was just the most joyous feeling being able to get back with Jackie and my girls and being there every day and just being able to hug them when you want. And it was just a blessing to be able to get right back to work through Push's hiring hall with Montante. And recently my supervisor asked me to reach out to subcontractors for a demo project that we're doing over here on the west side. So I was able to reach out to Push and bring a guy over from the hiring hall, which is really kind of cool because I was once in those same shoes.
I was born and raised in the Bronx. I saw so many of the people that I loved and that I knew be a product of their environment. But by the time I was 17, 18 years old and I learned about college and the fact that there was financial aid, I wanted to get as far away. I ended up in Buffalo, New York because it was the furthest away from my home within the state. I accidentally enrolled myself in a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. And I learned so much more of the systemic issues that I now battle within that experience and within my transition from a city like New York City to Buffalo, New York. On campus, there was 2 black baby dolls found at 2 separate locations with nooses around their necks. And that was a really defining moment for me because it was like all the relationships that I thought I had crafted with white people on campus were at question. And so I felt like a bystander, and I also felt like I was being tortured and being pained in a place where I thought I had found home. And so that moment was really much of, I don't know what to do or how to do it, but I know that I have to do something. And they just blew my mind. As much as I could, I was volunteering, I was coming around, I was helping plan actions, direct actions, which I was just learning what they were. We fought for the CCPA, which is the Climate and Community Protection Act. What we got at the end of this last session of the 2019 legislative session was the CLCPA, which is the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, which is a fused version of our bill and Governor Cuomo's Climate Leadership Act. It is still the biggest and most progressive and aggressive climate action bill in the whole nation, but a lot of the justice and equity provisions of it have been stripped. So I see the CLCPA and this victory as a partial victory. But now we have so much more work to do to make sure that not only is this a climate bill and a climate transition, but that this is a just transition that values deep democracy, that values people that have been systemically hurt by environmental racism, by environmental classism, and by climate change. And put it into perspective, the joint unity that we need to build in order to be able to barge into that open door that we've just propped open.
I was medically let go from my job, And I was told by my doctors that because of seizures and upper respiratory infections and lung infections, that there were really no real reasons for me to have, that I needed to put some paperwork together for my son, a guardianship and, you know, ownership of what was I going to do with my home should something happen to me. So I went into the back room where I used to have my office, and I walked into black mold fuzz and a cascading wall of water and a huge hole in my roof, and I just walked out, grabbed what I could, and just closed the door behind me. I waited around, and then I got a knock on the door. Brenda, the canvasser from Push, just happened to show up, and I don't know why, but I just felt like I needed to tell somebody. And so I took her to the room and I showed her, and she said, "You don't have to live like this." And that was the beginning of my relationship with Push. I started volunteering and going to different rallies and speaking up for myself, you know, because I had a lot to say, and I was really angry that these things had happened to me. Then I met some people who were working on the, at the time, CCPA, which was the Climate and Community Protection Act, which now our governor changed the name to CPA. Went to Albany, and I wanted to get arrested, and I was there and laying down for all the people that couldn't speak for themselves. And of course they didn't arrest me, but I was willing to give it up, you know. I'm not the only story. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, neighbors, and they need help. And, you know, Push is here to do it, but they can't do it alone. You may think you might be a little different from me or somebody else, but we're all the same, and we've got the same basic needs. So whatever you can do to help, that's awesome.